here. I wrote out my questions like the man that I am. Let me get your thoughts on Mike Plania and this fight and this matchup.
hmm Yeah, I've seen Mike Plania fight before. He's a good fighter. He's explosive, um, and he's a formidable opponent.
You're stealing my word from me, Angelo. I love using formidable. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite words for this story. I'm gonna have to use a different word.
Yeah.
One thing I look at for Polina is he fought at
Mhm.
122 pounds. Obviously, you were a champion at 122 pounds. That's the mountaintop. Um, in this opponent, do you see a person in a similar spot as yourself that campaigned at a different weight, but now is fighting at a different the weight class above?
Yeah, I think so. I think when I seen him fight, uh, he fought Greer at 118, I believe. Then he moved up to 122 and looking to stay there. But this one's at 126, so I see that he's kind of back and forth from 122, 126, and then I think his last fight was like at 130. So he's around that range, around that area, but I don't know what exact way he's trying to campaign at. So, but it doesn't worry me. We're here to get that W.
So it sounds like he's a veteran, tough guy. He takes the opportunity. He'll fight at whatever weight.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so it looks like.
Okay, so I think I know the answer to this, but I want you to tell me who's training you for this fight and where are you training?
Yeah, it's my dad. My dad's my trainer. It's also Luis Chavez and John Balgame. And we're all training here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay, and um, what is your goal right now? I'd assume your goal is to be a two-time world champion, two-division world champion, but is the goal to
Right.
fight for a featherweight title or a super bantamweight belt?
Featherweight title. Featherweight title. That's on my sights is to get a another title in a different weight class, become a two-time world champion and a two-division champion. And the goal is just to keep winning, get that W, January 31st, and then from there, let's see what ProBox has in store for me. Any title eliminators or a title shot is in the horizon. So, I'm looking forward to 2024.
And after your last fight, correct me if I'm wrong, you moved into number 9 ranking in the WBA featherweight world champion ranking. So a
Yeah,
win here could vault you even higher in those rankings, I'd assume.
yeah, for sure, and that's exactly what we're aiming for, to get higher up in those rankings and a title shot here pretty soon.
Okay. I have to say it just because everyone clicks on stuff.
Mhm.
Nail Inoue, is he in the back of your mind as someone that you could make a lot of money and become a Hall of Fame boxer? Being that you're around that weight class, I feel like everybody wants to win a world title, but they also want that huge opportunity against a fighter like that.
Yeah, of course. Inoue is definitely the top dog right now in all of boxing. Really, he's one of the top dogs. And fighting him would catapult my name. Fighting him and beating him would catapult my name to Hall of Fame status.
How far do you think you are from Hall of Fame status, in all honesty?
Um, I think just proving myself. If I win a world title at featherweight and then eventually move up to 130 and win a title at 130, I believe I'll be a Hall of Famer at that point.
Does Hall of Fame matter to you, or are you just focused on being the best fighter you can be?
Exactly that. Being the best fighter, possibly be taking care of my family, making sure I'm financially set in the end. That's what matters to me.
I said okay, but you couldn't hear it because I was slow on the mute button. The move from New Mexico to Las Vegas, how is that just in life?
It's probably one of the greatest decisions I've made is moving out here to Vegas. It really catapulted my career and to superstardom, to world title fights and all that. So um, all the opportunity was here in Vegas. There was not much in Albuquerque, even though I love the city. And that's my hometown, but we had to move out there. We had to move out of there because there wasn't much opportunity, and Vegas was the spot to be.
So I growing up, I saw this. I did skateboarding, and I saw people turn professional. And a lot of the big opportunities, you had to move to somewhere there was a media market. You had to move to LA or move to New York to get opportunities. I guess what I'm hearing from you is you could be the same fighter you were, but if you didn't move to Las Vegas, you wouldn't have gotten that sparring, and you wouldn't have gotten these opportunities to become a world champion.
Yeah, exactly. And Vegas was our second choice. Actually, our second relocation, because our first one was actually Los Angeles. We stayed there in Los Angeles for around 2 to 3 years. Then we decided to move back to Albuquerque, and then I turned pro, and then we decided to move to Vegas. But Vegas was the place to be, because it's not too far from LA. There's a big boxing community here in Vegas, of course, and yeah, it was the probably the best move we made.
I'm curious, why didn't you guys like LA? Was it the traffic?
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of everything actually. It was the traffic, the expenses, and yeah, just pretty much all that. Vegas was a lot more affordable for us at the time, and it wasn't too far from LA. So if we needed to go to LA, it was only 4 hours away. And yeah, but Cali wasn't our cup of tea.
Okay, high state tax where I live for sure. Um, I remember actually meeting you with Rolly a long time ago. Doesn't feel that long ago, but it was. And I
Mhm.
remember the amount of admiration he had for your skills. Do you have any memories of just either like that or being in the Mayweather gym and just that period of your life?
Of course, of course. That was a part of my career, and I'll never forget that part. I had a lot of fun times at the Mayweather boxing gym. Um, Mayweather Promotions took me to my first world title, so I have to be grateful for that. But yeah, Rollies is a friend of mine. We're still good friends to this day, and he's always talked real good about me in interviews, and same goes for him.
Well, I just remember he there were two people, and it's funny now. It was you and Camille Moulton who he pulled me aside to tell me how good both of you were. So
Oh,
he was like, hey, this is the real champ. This is Camille Moulton. And at the time, he was like 11, 12 years old and
yeah,
buffer than anyone in the gym. It's like somehow this 12-year-old's buffer than everyone. And then there was you were shadow boxing in the ring messing around with him. He goes, Angelo Leo is so technical. He's just like, he's so good and he's so technical. And to me, I don't care what anyone says, Rolly has one of the best eyes in boxing for talent. Because
yeah,
whenever he told me something, it's always been a great fighter.
yeah. Yeah, Rolly's he's always showed a lot of love and support for me, and he's a pretty smart fighter himself as well. A lot of people just think that he just goes in there and throws power punches, but he's actually very technical as well.
Yeah, they don't just give you a world title because you're a nice guy. Like there's something that's true about you if you win that. I wanted a couple of your thoughts on these upcoming world title fights. Obviously, the WBA title fight. I'm interested in your thoughts. Otabek, I can't pronounce his last name, is taking on Ray Ford.
Right.
This is the belt that you're basically lobbying, you're moving up in the rankings for. Obviously, I'd assume you're a keen observer, but do you have any perspective on this fight?
Yeah, I was just talking to one of my sparring partners earlier about that fight, and I think it's a good fight for me, and I'll definitely be tuning in for that fight when they do fight. Um, I believe Ford has an advantage in that fight just due to his style, but I know Komatov he could punch pretty good, is what I heard, and it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a real good fight, but I think Ford's movement is gonna offset Komatov.
Yeah, one thing a fight like this to me shows is durability. Like Ray
Mhm.
Ford to me is the more talented fighter, but how durable is he? Because I think
Yeah.
that that's what the fight. It's kind of like fighting Emmanuel Navarrete. You might be able to box better than him, but can you handle the way that the punches land on your body? Can the engine still, can it still run after a few rounds?
Right, right.
Okay. My other thought was rematch with Stephen Fulton. He's now in your weight class. He's coming off a loss. Do you
Yeah,
envision a point of getting your get back with Stephen Fulton down the road?
absolutely, absolutely. I've talked to other interviewers about that, and it's always been the same. I want that rematch. I want to get that get back, and eventually I think we'll meet again. But right now I'm focused on becoming a two-time and a two-time world champion and two-division world champion. But I think we'll get that we'll get that get back here pretty soon.
Okay. And is the goal of your 2024 goal is either to be in a title eliminator or a world title fight, all things going the way you hope they go?
Yeah, that is my goal. Either one of them, a title eliminator or a title shot. I prefer a title shot, because the sooner the better, right? So, but whichever works, whatever works in God's favor.
Perfect. Well, those are my questions. Anything else did you want to touch on?
No, that's about it. That's pretty much covered it all, and I can't really think of anything right now.
Thank you for your time, Angelo. I really appreciate you making time for me, and I hope I didn't waste too much of yours.
No, no, you're good. Thank you for interviewing me, and you have a good day.
Okay, right on. Talk to you soon.